Hello, Angie Gerber here, and welcome to my podcast, Awareness. Once you know, you can't unknow. A place you can come to start thinking and shifting your thoughts to finally create the results you truly, truly desire. It'll shift your mindset and give you strategies to get out there and get it done. Let's get started. In today's episode, I want to talk about You2, which is a book by Price Pritchett, Pritchett. It's a little 36-page book that I promise you, if you read and internalize and then read again and again and again, it will open your mind to so many possibilities. I know Bob Proctor, the first coach mentor I hired, he would stand in front of a room, could be 500 people, could be 200 people, and he would say, all right, so if you're not getting the results you want, how many of you just know you need to try harder? You got to give more effort and try a little harder or a lot harder. And he would raise his hand, and just about everyone in the room would raise their hand as well. The only reason they wouldn't is if they'd seen him speak before about this. So everyone raises their hand. Yes, we got to try harder. And he would say, that is the problem. That is the trap. And that is all of what this book, You2, it's you with a 2, You2 by Price Pritchett's about. And it's going to be a lot of what I talk about today as experts from this book. So he starts with a story, and it's a true story. So Price Pritchett, he writes, I'm sitting in a quiet room at the Millcroft Inn, a peaceful little place hidden back among the pine trees about an hour outside of Toronto. It's just past noon, late July, and I'm listening to the desperate sounds of a life or death struggle going on a few feet away. There's a small fly burning out the last of its short life's energies in an attempt to fly through the glass of a window pane. The whining wings tell the story of the fly's strategy. Try harder. But it's not working. The frenzied efforts offer no hope for survival. Ironically, the struggle is part of the trap. It is impossible for the fly to try hard enough to succeed at breaking through the glass. Nevertheless, this little insect has staked its life on reaching its goal through raw effort and determination. The fly is doomed. It will die there on the windowsill. And across the room, 10 steps away, the door is open. 10 seconds of flying time, and this small creature could reach the outside world it seeks. With only a fraction of the effort now being wasted, it could be free of this self-imposed trap. The breakthrough possibility is there, and it would be so easy. So why doesn't the fly try another approach? Something dramatically different. How did it get so locked in on the idea that this particular route and determined effort offer the most promise for success? What logic is there in continuing until death to seek a breakthrough with more of the same? No doubt this approach makes sense to the fly, and regrettably, it's an idea that will kill. Trying harder isn't necessarily the solution to achieving more. It may not offer any real promise for getting what you want out of life. And sometimes, in fact, it's a big part of the problem. If you stake your hopes for a breakthrough on trying harder than ever, you may kill your chances for success. So the first time I heard that story, it was pretty impactful, and it made a lot of sense. And then when I went on to read the rest of the book, it was pretty eye-opening. I'll definitely say that. You2 is about taking a quantum leap And Fred Allen Wolf, in his award-winning book titled Taking the Quantum Leap, describes the term as the explosive jump that a particle of matter undergoes in moving from one place to another. In a figurative sense, taking the quantum leap means taking a risk, going off into an uncharted territory with no guide to follow. To put it simple, as human beings, we are going to have to reframe our ideas about the universe and how we fit into it. You know, most people operate with a mindset that assumes success comes one step at a time. U2 implies an explosive jump in your personal performance that puts you far beyond the next logical step. If you want to accelerate your rate of achievement rapidly, you must search out and vigorously employ new behaviors. You know, quantum leaps cannot be achieved through incremental steps or through more of the same. You've got to shift gears. You have to follow new patterns of thought and action. The rules of what works and what doesn't always changes when you are trying to make a move from normal performance to U2. More of the same usually just gives you more of the same. Now, we have virtues such as discipline or persistence, and this isn't an argument against those being important. They are absolutely true virtues, and over a lifetime, they can make a powerful contribution to success and achievement. They are fundamental to the development of your talents. It's extremely important to apply yourself diligently, and sometimes staying power is what delivers a big win. But ordinarily, you will find that trying harder produces only incremental gains, not quantum leaps. Also, keep in mind that trying harder, even a lot harder, sometimes offers little more than a straight path to burnout. Attempting to succeed through more of the same and relying on committed effort can blind you to better pathways. To make a quantum leap, you've got to break out of the rut of where you've been running. Second guess your routines. Overcome the addiction to your old methodologies. Set a new pattern. If the things you're doing don't work or haven't been working, stop doing them. Focus on what works. If you'll just quit what you've been doing, instead of doggedly doing it harder, or at least create an opportunity, some white space to do something else. Quantum leaps come when you seek the elegant solution. So look for an approach characterized by simplicity, precision, effectiveness, neatness. It won't be as complex or time-consuming as your present struggle. Overall, it will be less demanding of your energies and emotions, and it probably will not be familiar to you. U2 calls for a fresh perspective, a deft move, a path of least resistance. There is a way you can do more with less. Now, don't get the idea that absolutely anything you can think of is possible. It isn't. But in the same area of your life, what lies within your reach is enough to stagger the mind. You can double your level of success, triple it, and far beyond that. You can leverage up your performance to the second or third or fourth power and beyond. Truly, there are limits, but you don't need to worry about them. Your real limits are so far beyond your artificial mental boundaries, don't even worry about them. The real limits won't box you in. But it's the false ones you're carrying around in your mind that are self-imposed prison. So how do you break out of that jail? Through surrender. You have to forfeit some of your old beliefs and sacrifice some of those sensible thinking patterns, so-called common sense. It can be a curse that puts you in a box, puts a ceiling on how far you can reach and how high you can fly. U2, the quantum leap strategy, is based on uncommon sense. If you are going to doubt something, doubt your limits. You don't have to know how you're going to get there, but you need to know where you're going. So this is, again, going back to goal setting. Quantum leaps demand a willingness to make mistakes. They say, shoot for the moon. At the worst, you'll land in the stars. As someone had said before as well, everything looks like a failure in the middle. You can't bake a cake without getting the kitchen messy. Halfway through surgery, it looks like there's been a murder in the operating room. And if you send a rocket towards the moon, about 90% of the time it's off course and failing. It's failing its way to the moon by continually making mistakes and correcting them. And that's where many of us often tap out. When stuff gets hard, or when we choose fear over faith and we just don't see it or understand it or know that it's coming, or we're making mistakes or we're failing forward, it's easy to lose faith. Other people may also withdraw their support and become critical of your efforts. That plus our own anxieties and uncertainties can tempt you to even turn on yourself. And it's really critical in the process to not give up. Failure belongs in quantum leaps, and it's a sign of progress. So taking a moment to even think about, what is it that you even really want? Who is it that you want to be? I know Bob Proctor also said one of the first things is when you do something or say something, how someone reacts to you, whether you trigger them or whatever happens, as long as you're not doing it maliciously, that has about 99.9% to do with them and the fact that something you did or said held a mirror up in front of them, and just about 0% to do with you. Yet what we tend to do is internalize it, feel bad about it, take the blame or take the heaviness of that. And I learned right away, that's kind of the saying, don't care what people think about you. It really, truly has not much to do with you and everything to do with them, their paradigms, their triggers, their habitual habits, their upbringing. It's all there. So what he said is, who do you want to be? He said, who do you really want to be? Not the you think your spouse or partner thinks you need to be or should be. Not the you think your kids think you should be. Not the you think your relatives or in-laws or the people you work with think you should be. But who do you really want to be? What gifts do you have? You may have many gifts that you've never opened. There are gifts of talent, ability, and reach that are yours for the taking. The people that we call gifted, they're different from the crowd in one very special way. And that's they've accepted their gifts. They've let it happen. The high achievers, the persons you admire, and those individuals who open their gifts, these winners have more gifts because they've claimed them. They've took them out of the wrapping and used them. And now it's time for you to do something with your gifts. Claim them. Make a choice. Make a decision. And when you make a quantum leap, you'll find many new things about yourself. U squared is a fascinating experience in self-discovery, and a transformation occurs. It's like a metamorphosis. And quantum leaps, they simply won't happen if you're living a life with a lukewarm heart. Passion is a very important part of the process. It fires the soul and fuels the spirit. It energizes your heart and mind for the quantum leap to take you to a higher plane of performance. Passion also keeps you going when you're hit with a problem and uncertainty and not sure where to go. But passion itself must be fueled. And you feed the flame with visions of a dream that's dramatic. The emotional intensity inside must burn hot enough to protect you against the chilling effects of doubt, uncertainty, criticism, and failure. Only deep desire can create such heat. For you to care this intensely, of course, there must be something worth caring about, something remarkable, special, and precious enough to light the fire in your heart. And this means You must loosen the limits of your thinking and give yourself permission to pursue what you want most. And I know personally, I didn't find my passion until I was 40. And I had a love. I enjoyed many things. Loved what I was doing and continue to do today. And yet, when I felt and found that passion, that fire lit inside of me, and I am just ready to serve so many women and just help. If they don't have their I don't have to. If you don't wake up every morning excited for the day, not feeling, now I get to work and it doesn't even feel like work because I found I don't have to. And I promise you, if you haven't found that, it's out there and it's beautiful. You just have to give yourself permission to find it, to give yourself that white space, to sit down and actually think about it, to write about it, to meditate about it, to visualize about it, all the beautiful things that can happen. And you'll discover once underway that you know more than you know. Don't bog down in getting prepared for a quantum leap. Whatever else you need will come as it goes. Getting ready, quite frankly, is a stalling tactic. It's an act of anxiety, a con game that you're working on yourself. When you're already positioned to escape to a higher plane of performance, if you wait until you get it perfect, you will never get it at all. It's time to start now. U2 can only occur in the present. Everything else that's needed right now comes from inside of you. And what needs to be presented to you will be presented along the way. The people, the money, the opportunities, the gifts, it will all be shown from you. And it's truly about us just showing up, starting to understand how the universe works, the laws of the universe, and plugging in and playing. The laws of the universe, they're not man-made. They can't be altered by man. So you can either wake up every day and go about your day as you do, ignore them, pretend they don't exist. Some people think it's a little, out there, whatnot. But you have to, have fear of faith. So why not choose faith? You can't see either. Look at gravity. Gravity is one of the laws. Doesn't matter if you're a nice person or a mean person. If you jump off the building, same thing's going to happen. There's the law of cause and effect, the law of gender, the law of rhythm, the law of attraction and visualization, the law of perpetual transformation, the law of polarity. These are things that are what they are. And it's amazing once you dig in and start to understand them, even start playing a little bit with them, how so much shifts. So, with that said, thank you so much for joining me today. If this has sparked some imagination, some creativity, a fire in you, a desire to learn more, feel free always to reach out to me. Or I would highly encourage you, if you do not own U2, which is YOU with a 2, so U2 by Price Pritchett. It's 36 pages. Very quick read, about a half hour or so. Read it over and over and over again and really start to think about how you're showing up, what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what you really want. Who do you really want to be? And I congratulate you if you are already there. I sure know before I found this stuff, I wasn't anywhere near where I am today. So again, here to share with you all. And until next time, start thinking into results. Thanks for spending some time with me today. And if you like what you heard, feel free to share, like, subscribe, follow, do whatever it is you do. I'd love to get this out to as many people as possible because it truly all does start with awareness. Once you know, you cannot unknow, and it changes everything.
And of course, if I can help in any way, I'm here and happy to do so. Until next time, make it a good one.